Well, I just think to beat Louisiana Lafayette 3 times in one season, I think speaks real highly of our players, and I give them a lot of credit. That's a really good basketball team. It's a really good coach. We just have a lot of respect for their program. Obviously, Sean Long gets a lot of attention because he's a pro, but they've got other really good players too. So I just give our players a lot of credit for finding a way to win today. Any questions?
Questions for the student athletes?
Josh, when they tied it up, I think you had like 5 points at that point, and you seemed to kind of start to find your stroke with a couple big 3-pointers there. Did you just turn it up when they tied the game? What was behind you kind of finding?
My teammates just happened they found me when I was open. I got fantastic teammates. I was playing terrible in the first half, and Jalen Jackson, he was fantastic the first 20 minutes. I got great teammates that could find me. So, I really got the easy part on a lot of ends, you know what I mean? So I try to keep it simple, and with the talent we got, man, I really don't have to do too much. But when the time calls for it, I like to step up in those kind of situations.
For either one of you, we've talked a lot about your defense all year, and, I think you guys forced turnovers on those last 2 possessions. Just kind of take me through those and just kind of how you guys kind of relied on the defense to really kind of seal this thing out tonight.
Well, like you said, we rely on defense. That's our identity, and we try our best to get stops, and that's what we did.
Josh, isn't this great? We got Jalen Jackson talking about defense.
I was thinking the same thing.
This is a big day for our program.
41, baby, 41.
Guys, how about weathering run after run by them? You've done it all year, but what's that say about this team to be able to do that at this point?
We've been prepared for the situation numerous times. We played a lot of teams that we understand that the game is never over. Lafayette's a fantastic team, fantastic program, with probably the best player in the conference, hands down. We understand that we got to keep playing. Regardless of the score, they're going to keep coming. This is Sun Belt, traditionally a one-bid team, so it's do or die, life or death. And, we just got to play it possession by possession. That's what we're able to do.
Jim Harris of Sporting Life Arkansas. Fort Jalen, things were going pretty slow there offensively for the team. Then you scored 11 of the first 16 points. Can you talk about how you felt coming into this game? You didn't look like you felt any pressure, any tension, just played loose.
Well, every time I come into the game, I try to be aggressive and score. It just today the ball was going in, so I kept going at it.
Guys, after having such a long layoff, how did you feel finally kind of getting your legs loose, getting back on the court? Did you think it maybe took you a little bit to kind of get going in the first half? I know it wasn't the quickest start in the world, but kind of once you got back in that rhythm, just how was it being off for so long, and did you actually enjoy the rest, or would you rather have played a little bit earlier?
Anytime you can get another game in, that'd be fine. But I wouldn't say it was the rest. It was just the fact that it's conference tournament time. You know what I'm saying? With each part of the season, all the intensity shifts a notch. You know what I'm saying? So when it gets to this point, teams are playing as hard as they possibly can. Lafayette, they came out swinging. They beat us on the glass early, and we were just able to bounce back. We had to settle in a little bit. I was pretty bad. I think I had all 3 of my turnovers in the first half, if I'm not mistaken. So, we just had to settle in and kind of go from there.
Guys, you're 40 minutes from the NCAA tournament. How's that sound?
Sounds good, man, but, it's not necessarily 40 minutes, just one play at a time. We got to figure out who we're playing. We got 2 good teams playing next, and kind of go from there, you know what I mean? Can't look too far ahead.
Kind of the same thing for both of you. Josh, you kind of alluded to it, but Jalen was so big for you guys in the first half, and Liz had some pretty good moments in the second. With your guys' depth, when you're kind of not playing like you want to be, do you feel kind of pressure to really kind of keep it going, or do you feel like the other guys can kind of have your back, and Jalen for you too? Just when you had that big first half, did you not feel like you had to do the same thing in the second half because of the same reason?
Well, as far as feeling pressure on the offensive side, I really don't, because we have so many players that can score, so it's more easier for players to come in and score because they're going to be playing like you got Mo, you got Josh, you got G. Those guys, they're not going to leave them to open too many times, so it's easy. It opened up the driving lane for me.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Josh, Jalen, thank you for your time. We will dismiss you, and we will continue the interviews with Coach Beard. Any questions for Coach Beard?
Good job, Coach. Come on, baby. 41, baby.
Chris, those first few minutes, did you kind of think that was kind of the remnants of the kind of long layoff, and what do you think kind of finally got you guys out of it? Was it Jalen, or was it kind of something else that really kind of sparked you guys a little bit?
I don't know if it was the layover, but maybe just the nerves of the first game in a conference tournament. I mean, it's like this. It wasn't for lack of effort or lack of preparation. I thought the guys were just trying too hard to make a play. But we calmed them down a little bit as the half went on. But, there's definitely some nerves out there.
These guys, they know what's at stake tomorrow, and they're still pretty loose, aren't they?
Yeah, getting tight's not a problem for this team. Hasn't been all year long. These guys will have a lot of fun. One of the special things of our team and why we've had a championship-type season to this point is we've got a lot of good guys that are unselfish, that play for each other. It really started this summer when they bonded together, and I've coached a lot of really good teams, but this team's really close as any team as I've coached. So they're having a lot of fun. We told them the idea in New Orleans is to play our best basketball of the year and to have some fun. I think that kind of gets lost this time of year, and I think competing on a stage like this against great competition is fun. It's why you play the game, and I'm glad that these guys are embracing the experience.
Coach, after he had 34 last night, how much were you guys focusing on not letting Long beat you, or were you not looking at it that way?
No, we were definitely looking at it. I didn't sleep last night. I started watching tape of him, and then I just, I couldn't put it down. He's a special player. He might be the best rebounder I've ever seen in college basketball, and I've seen some good ones. I mean, he can literally get any rebound he wants to. So, and I think another thing that's gone maybe without as much notice is he's been coached too. He's really gotten better in his 4 years in Louisiana. Their coaching staff deserves a lot of credit. I mean, he can shoot the ball now. He can dribble it. He posts. He faces. So there's a lot of work to go into that. Not only is he a special, talented player, but it's very, very evident that he's been coached because he gets better every year. So we knew we weren't going to stop him, and we certainly didn't stop him, but I did think we slowed him down a little bit. We got some timely turnovers by changing the looks on him. So I'll give our guys a lot of credit. They competed well against a special player.
I guess same question I asked these guys. I mean, you're 40 minutes from what you've worked for all season, Coach.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly the goal. It's we have 3 or 4 goals every season. One of them was to win the regular season conference championship that we're really proud of. No one can ever take it away from these guys. So now it's just time to relax and enjoy the month of March. I think we got a great resume. So we would like to win the game tomorrow to take care of it. But, I think these guys have had a season where they deserve to play in the NCAA tournament.
Another one on Long, he was big in them tying it at 38, and then he goes to the bench, and you guys go inside 2 straight possessions. Did you think that was an opportunity with him on the bench to really kind of take back control of the game there?
Yeah, I give the players credit, though. The way we play offensive basketball with the motion and the pick and roll game, we want our guys to read the defense. We don't have a lot of set plays. We don't tell them as coaches a lot what to do. We just teach them how to read the defense and let them make plays. So as you can tell, we're an experienced team. We're a good team. And so when Long left the game, a couple of our players recognized that and made the appropriate play. So I give the players all the credit.
Josh has had some pretty big games against this team in the past, and for him to start stepping up and knocking down those jumpers to get you guys back ahead, does that just kind of say – what does that say about him in particular?
Well, for Josh personally, I think he's matured a lot this year. He's always been a special player in this league, but he's found a new level of maturity, and I think that'll translate to him with an opportunity to play after college. So I give him a lot of credit. But also our team, you're talking about a team that believes in him. So even when he was not playing his best early, he had teammates encouraging him. He had teammates screening for him. He had teammates passing the ball to him. So, it's a team sport. Josh has gotten a lot of credit this year, which he deserves. But I think he would be the first to tell you that his teammates are the one that have made this special kind of season possible for him.
I think he went to the bench twice in the first half pretty early. I mean, was that a message from you to him?
Not a message, just a coach trying to help his player, calm him down a little bit. And I have a lot of confidence in our team. We're a team. Troy, you know this. We've played 11, sometimes 12 players this year. I think we're one of the best stories in college basketball because of how many players we play, the unselfishness, the depth, and the fact that these guys have all come together and played for each other. And so tonight was no different just because this is a conference tournament game, we're not going to change who we are. We have faith in all of our players, and we wanted to substitute early and often, and we did that.
Coach, coming out of the second half, they were hot. What adjustment did you notice in them, and then what adjustment did you make to sort of counter all the momentum they had there in the first 5 minutes of the second half?
Well, we knew they were going to come out. You know, Coach Marlin, coach team, they're not going to quit. We knew it was going to be a 40-minute game. Both of the games that we had with them in the non-conference, in the conference schedule, were very similar. And so I don't know if it was necessarily what we were not doing well, but it was what they were doing well. They hit some shots. They got the ball inside the long a couple times with space where we couldn't double him. And then, of course, the changing of defenses. They played 3 or 4 different defenses tonight. We were prepared. We were ready. But it slowed us down a little bit on the initial change of defenses. So I'll give them a lot of credit for that coaching move.
Coach, what's next now for the rest of the day going into tomorrow, and also any early thoughts on both Texas Arlington and Monroe as they prepare for their game?
Are you from Texas with that Texas Rangers hat on?
I'm actually from Arkansas.
Okay. Well, I'm from Arkansas too, and I love it. Kind of like the Rangers a little bit too. No, so the schedule for today, I think, we got to get a lot of rest. We got to fuel our bodies, get a good meal in these guys, and rest, and then just kind of sit back and see who wins this game. Both these teams have our utmost respect. Texas Arlington is a well-coached, very, very talented team that plays fast. Scott Cross and Greg Young and Kenneth Mangrum, those guys, they do a great job. And certainly Monroe is one of the best stories in college basketball the last couple of months. I don't think they've lost since last year, it seems like. So I'll be interested just to watch this game as a basketball fan, too. I think it'll be a good game. And then we'll spend the rest of the evening trying to prepare, trying to give our players, a chance to be successful.
Disappointed with the outcome of the game. Certainly, first half we didn't play very good. They got some points in transition off our turnovers, which wound up to be our undoing in both halves. But I was proud of our guys the second half, especially these 2 guys to my left. They came out, scored the ball, made some big plays, big shots. We tied the game, I believe, at the 12-minute mark. And from then on, it was a pretty good college basketball game in this environment. And they hit some big shots. We got it to 6, or had it to 3, with 2 minutes to go. The game's on, and Sochi hits a huge shot with 1:19, and we may have turned it over. I'm not sure. We had too many turnovers down the stretch to win a game like this. Our goal was to have 10 or less, and we had 18. And we averaged 12.5 on the year. And you can't win a game like this against a team that's playing very good, hitting big shots, by turning it over. We rebounded the ball well. We made a couple of 3-point shots. Again, these 2 guys did to my left, but just wasn't enough today. We had to play better to beat a Little Rock team that's very good.
Questions for the student athletes?
Kasey, when it got to that 3-point game, like Coach was referencing, I think you guys had 2 offensive fouls and then the 3-pointer in between there. How much of that was just kind of trying to force things, or what broke down there in that little stretch?
I think with the game being so close, I think we might have just got a little too excited, try to make some home run plays instead of just sticking with what got us back into the game. But you're playing hard, you're playing aggressive on offense. Sometimes that stuff happens. You just got to live with it and try to play through it and make up for it.
Sean, I think during that stretch where you guys tied it back up, you had 10 points in a 15-3 run. What were you able to do to kind of get you guys back in it, both on the offensive and defensive end?
I think just when the guards drove, just getting to the open spot, and when I caught in the post, being poised, which I wasn't a couple times. I got some charges, but for the most part, just taking my time, trying to make a good move.
Kasey, I think they I was just looking back at it, they hit like 13 out of their last 16 shots. When they're going like that, you guys were trying to obviously answer them and did a lot of times, but when they're knocking down shots like that, how hard is it to actually make a comeback against a good defensive team?
Really hard because when you're down, the idea is to not trade baskets. That's something that we ended up doing. Or a couple stops short, and that kind of ended up killing us in the long run.
Any other questions for Sean or Kasey?
The 3-point shooting tonight, I think second half you guys started to knock some down, but in the first half you couldn't get it going. Was that just kind of indicative of y'all's season? Whoever wants to answer that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just one of those things. We got a lot of guys who are very capable of shooting the ball, who didn't shoot it well tonight, and it's just a part of the game.
I guess for both you guys, for it to come to an end like this and the ups and downs of the regular season that you had, can you kind of just try and put it in perspective?
Even though, unfortunately we lost today, still a blessing, just to be here these last few years and have the opportunity to play ball for Coach Marlin. And we're just trying to, take as much positive as we can out of the situation. And of course, we would like to get a championship, but it happens. It's a part of the game. We just got to keep our heads up and continue to grow as people and basketball players.
Any other questions for Sean or Kasey? Gentlemen, thank you for your time. You're dismissed. And we will continue with questions for Coach Marlin.
Coach, Jackson really seemed to give him a spark off the bench there early. You guys held him, I think, to 2 points the first 6 minutes, and then he came in and got him going. How big was he for them tonight?
He was very big. He's a guy that we followed in junior college at Northwest Florida. He started off at Central Arkansas, and we recruited him for a little bit and backed off, but he's a good player. And he's had a good year for him. He's a slasher, driver, but he even hit a three tonight. He doesn't shoot a lot of threes. He can do that. But he really helped him. He's the leading scorer in the game, and he got him off to a quick start, got the break, dunk off a turnover, and drove baseline and had some big plays for him. So he was huge. I mean, they probably weren't expecting that going in.
Bob, you guys fought back to tie it at 38 with 12 to go, and then you put Sean on the bench, and I think they score the next 5 possessions. I mean, do you think you guys really missed out on an opportunity to really grab momentum in that point with Sean on the bench there?
No, not necessarily. He was in foul trouble for one, and he needed a rest. And Devontae gave us some good minutes, I felt like, but that was just a substitution that we've done all year. So, I mean, he played 37 minutes, the most in the game by far. But we needed to get him a blow right there.
Coach, that stretch that you were talking about earlier, I think it went offensive on Stove, and then Kasey with the three, and then another offensive, I think, on Sean. Was that just kind of pressing to make something happen, or what did you see in that stretch?
Well, we're trying to do too much. And again, 18 turnovers. Some were unfortunate turnovers. We ran a play, and the ball bounces off Kasey and right into Johnson's hands, something like that. We slipped a couple of times. But the other ones are forced with the bad passes. One time we were down 4 and threw the ball out of bounds at half court. Jay stepped on the sideline one time in a trap. But some offensive fouls too. So it was a little bit of everything, but we were trying to force it too much at that stretch, and they finished the game better than we did. The second half, Tim, we shoot 56%, 50 from three, and 80 from the line. It's pretty good, but we let them shoot 57 and 50, so it's really a push right there.
Like I asked Kasey, I think they did knock down 13 out of their last 16. So you've said in the past that this is a team you don't want to get behind against. But it seemed like tonight they were able to use their offense, and y'all just couldn't get a stop when you needed it.
Well, they're good offensively. Hagins hit a couple of big shots again at the end of the clock. Johnson hit one late in the game, and of course, Shoshi hit the big one too. Also, they drove the ball, and we helped. Sean helped over, and we didn't sink. We're so concerned with Hagins, that we don't sink on the weak side and give up a couple of easy bunnies to Shoshi. But they're good offensively. I mean, they're good. They're well coached. Chris does a nice job. They're good offensively, good defensively, and we have to play better to beat them, and we didn't today.
With Sean in particular, I mean, he did his part obviously with the 25, but just in terms of the support, especially in the first half, how much of a difference maker was that?
For Sean, yeah, we needed to make some shots to him. We didn't shoot the ball good at all. 1 for 9, missed some good looks. Sean had a couple of turnovers, trying to do too much as well. But we needed to get off to a start like we did last night offensively, and it didn't happen. We didn't execute and use our screens the way we needed to.
Hey, Coach Gerald Grunick, KLFI. When you look at Sean and how leaving his thumbprint on this program, how much did he want to win a conference tournament championship in regards for him in particular? I know the team did as a whole, but especially him.
Well, he did for his teammates. He's been focused on winning it, getting back to the tournament. It would have been a great thing for him. He's the most dominant player in our league. And he showed it the last 2 nights. I think he played well, made shots, blocked shots, and drew double teams quite consistently. So he's disappointed. He's still got a future playing basketball, and good things are in store for him. I'm proud of the way he's matured and played this year, and as the season's gone along, he's gotten better and better. He's had a fantastic senior year.
I think Kasey was scoreless at halftime. Only had 1 shot attempt and ends up with 18 points. How big was he just getting y'all back into the game to have a chance there at the end?
That we needed the threes for sure, and then he drove and got fouled a couple times. And you guys know he's an excellent free throw shooter, leads the conference in free throw shooting. So that's what I told the official. They came over one time and trying to explain to me that it was a 1-and-1. He was on the floor instead of 2. I said, it really doesn't matter. He's going to make them both anyway. I don't care. And I thought he was on the floor as it was. But his shooting and scoring tonight got us back in the game, for sure.
What are your thoughts on getting a few more games for them in the postseason like you did last year?
Well, there's a possibility. We'll have to wait and see. Get back, talk to our administration, see what's going on. And we've had some preliminary contact with a couple of different groups, so we'll see. No more on Monday, I'm sure.
Any other questions for Coach Marlin? Coach, thank you for your time.